In the last days it will be, God declares, that I will pour out my Spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young women shall see visions, and your old women shall dream dreams. Amen. Please do sit. Well, I apologise. I've got sort of a cold, allergy kind of thing going on. I can hardly hear this morning, so if I'm too loud, try to indicate to me. I don't know. I can't really hear myself this morning. Well, happy Pentecost.
Happy Pentecost.
Okay. I'm not, this isn't just a figment of my imagination. That's good. Okay. Happy Pentecost. Yeah. And well done for wearing red, those of you who are wearing red. Today is the birthday of the church, because today the gift of the Holy Spirit, that Holy Spirit, the presence of God, which Jesus had promised, came to the disciples and transformed them into apostles. And they became not simply hearers and learners, but speakers and teachers. There are two things I want to share with you this morning. One has to do with Pentecost, and it's all about fire. But the other is, I couldn't really ignore it today, but I have to speak to you about the wedding. The wedding. What wedding? Okay, see me afterwards. The wedding. What a beautiful day, what a glorious occasion, and the hats. Weren't they incredible? Just the hats alone. It was worth turning the TV on just to watch the hats and the dresses and all the rest of it. And I thought Meghan Markle's now, the Duchess of Sussex, her dress was just so beautiful and understated, and the dress supported the woman, and the woman inside was what was so beautiful. And of course Prince Harry and his brother in those beautiful bespoke frock coats. What really touched me though was, I felt really proud of our Episcopal Anglican Church. I think I was very proud of the way that we kind of hosted this incredible occasion with all these different people coming from all over the world. The Clooneys were there, and Sienna Williams was there, and Oprah Winfrey, and everybody else, and the rest of us got to watch. But I was very proud of our little church, especially proud that our presiding bishop, Bishop Michael Curry, was the one asked to preach, and he certainly did not tone it down. And you could see some of the royals were maybe thinking, who on earth is this guy? But what an amazing thing that this African-American priest, bishop, and with his legacy to speak in this sacred of places that really has spoken for so long of white privilege, St. George's Chapel in Windsor, and to be invited and to be welcomed and to be able to speak, and people were willing to listen. We've made a lot of progress, haven't we? Yes, we've got a ways to go, but we've come a long, long way. And I was proud of Bishop Michael, and I was proud of all of us. And it also spoke to me of, it's an amazing story if you think about it. Here is this very conservative, old-fashioned, some might say fusty, royal institution welcoming this very different person. She's biracial, she's American, she is divorced, and she's an actress. And yet she has been welcomed and found a place. And in our cynical age, when so much of what we see around us seems tainted or impossible, here is just one tiny example of where perhaps more is possible than we imagine or think. That here is the possibility of creating real bridges and holding hands, and I'm really encouraged by that. And so God bless Harry, and God bless Meghan, and God bless the royal family. I'm not really a royalist, I have to say. I'm very proud that I'm the citizen of a country where we elect all our leaders, although sometimes I have to hold my head and wonder, but hey, that's the joy of democracy, right? But nevertheless, they've created and witnessed to something beautiful and possible. That was the first, so I had to mention the wedding, but what I wanted to preach about was, of course, Pentecost, and I have to say, so you may not believe me, but when I didn't hear all of Bishop Curry's sermon, but I did read the entire text, and I got towards the end and I was just shocked and appalled. He completely stole my idea for a Pentecost sermon. No, it's true. Even I was going to talk about fire and how how fire is so important to our civilization and how probably all of us got here because of fire, our little combustion engines, and he preached it already. So what is left? Well, I do want to think about fire because I'm just really fascinated and intrigued by this image of fire. I think back to when I was a kid. Any kind of open fire, and you were just right there and you wanted to poke it and play with it. And there is something just elemental. I think that's one of the reasons why we still have candles, even though the fire marshal isn't terribly happy about churches having open flames, but we told him we weren't going to change. He'd have to shut us down. But there is something about it, isn't there, about a living flame, a living fire. Because what fire does is it transforms. It transforms, I'm not a physicist, but my understanding is that what fire does, it transforms matter into energy. It transforms something like this, solid, into light and into heat. And to watch that take place in front of you as you watch a fire, it's kind of an incredible thing. Because here you watch something which is solid matter being turned into what? Something that you can't really grab a hold of and yet is very present. You feel the heat of it and you see the light of it, and it's happening. And I think that's what happened on that first Pentecost. The disciples, the ones who had followed, the learners, the trainees, all of a sudden were transformed by that Holy Spirit, by the fire of that Spirit, into apostles, which means messengers, which means teachers, which means doers, which means healers. Rather than being the ones to follow the Master, now they were sent out into the world to be the gospel, to be the living gospel. And what happened in that room all those years ago is happening today. The fire is still burning. It wasn't a one-off event. It was kindled in that room, in that place, and has just caught the world on fire. What? Yes. That's why you're here. You are here because that flame has been passed on to you. And it's transforming you and transforming your life so that you can be and are an apostle too. One who shares, one who does, one who heals, one who teaches, one who witnesses. Let me finish by plagiarizing, really, honestly, a bit of Bishop Michael's sermon from yesterday. His sermon was all about love, as it should be for a wedding. And what he said in his own words and in the words of Martin Luther King and others who said it much better, love is the power that changes the world. Love is the power that changes everything. And that's the power of the Holy Spirit. Yeah. That's why you are here. So, the fire keeps burning. The fire keeps burning. So God bless you on this Pentecost day. And don't be afraid. The fire can't be quenched. It burns inside you, even if you don't know it. What an amazing thing. Happy Pentecost. Happy Pentecost. Amen.